Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be the official start of my No Buy July. And as I was trying to figure out what categories I wanted to include in this No Buy, honestly, it started to get a little bit complicated. So I felt like, for the sake of my sanity and just to make it really easy, basically, for the entire month of July, I'm going to just ban shopping in general, meaning that the only thing I'm going to be buying will be groceries. I've at first I was like, is that too extreme? Because like I obviously don't feel like I have a problem with certain categories. It's not like I don't go out and buy a ton of books. I don't go out and buy clothing all the time. I don't go out and buy a ton of like home decor. I have certain categories that seem to be, my go-to that I need to kind of reel back in as far as shopping. But as I was like looking through everything that I have, I'm like, I think I can make it through a whole month without shopping for anything other than groceries. There's just really not anything that I need. And this no buy, it's no buy July. So for the entire month of July, I'm not going to be shopping for anything, like I said, but groceries. But I think I'm going to extend the no buy after July. And at that point, maybe I will start picking certain categories. And part of that is because during the month of July, not only am I not going to be purchasing things, but I also really, really want to start going through the things that I have and getting them organized. My goal is not to be a minimalist. I'm not a minimalist type of a person. In fact, I'm quite the opposite. I'm more of a maximalist. But I also do not like a ton of clutter. So I need to go through the things that I have and really figure out a designated place for those things. And then moving forward, when I do purchase things, I need to know that they have a specific place that they already can go. So it's not going to be like, oh, where can I fit this type of a thing? And I feel like if I know more of what I already have, that will also help me in the future to know what kind of things that I should purchase or shouldn't purchase. And moving forward, also, I really want to get to a point where I'm very, very conscious of the items that I'm bringing into my home, as far as, do I truly, truly love the product? I have a very bad habit of buying things that aren't necessarily exactly what I'm looking for, or I kind of like lower my standards a little bit because I'm like, oh, but I just want to give it a try. And like a lot of times, before I even purchase an item, I already know in my head it's probably not going to be any good. And then, I get it home and try it out and it's not. So why am I purchasing it in the first place? I have that addiction of like wanting to try everything, even if I don't have high hopes for it. And I don't know where that comes from, but honestly, that's kind of some of the stuff I'm going to try and figure out during this no buy. So yeah, it's going to be a complete no buy on anything. Now, in addition to not shopping, well, I guess I should say too, I am buying groceries, but kind of going along with the whole, I'm one of those people that likes to try new things, and sometimes like I know before I even buy it that I probably won't like it. With the groceries, I'm not going to be purchasing anything like completely out of the ordinary. And I'm not going to be like purchasing, even because I like to cook. Okay. So every once in a while you will find recipes that have like specialty ingredients. And I'm not opposed to trying new things and trying new ingredients. But for the month of July, I'm just not going there. I'm not opposed to, repurchasing products that are tried and true and that I need for recipes, but I'm not going to be buying any like specialty ingredients that I don't already have in my cabinet. I'm not going to be trying a bunch of new recipes that like are, just completely different from things that we normally eat. So I'm really going to be sticking with my tried and trues this month, and If I do want to try a new recipe, it needs to be something that I already have the ingredients for. So even technically my grocery shopping, I am kind of kind of limiting, if that makes sense. The other thing, and this is not it's not an actual like spending money thing, but I feel like for me, it's very much the same feeling as shopping. And that is my Pinterest account, you guys. Like, and honestly, this probably sounds ridiculous. It's either going to sound ridiculous to you or you're going to totally see where I'm coming from with this. But I have found that even if I'm not actively going out and like purchasing things and spending my money, I will scroll on Pinterest and pin and pin and pin, whether it's recipes, whether it's home ideas, whether it's, products. And like I put it in my beauty, Pinterest board. And I have noticed that like my Pinterest boards, like you guys, I have so many Pinterest boards and I have so many pins. I'm actually going to count them up, in fact, and I will let you guys know how many boards I have and how many pins I have saved. And it's like this addiction. And I have noticed that it's the same exact feeling. Instead of like add to cart, you know what I mean? It's like you pin it to a board and you pin it to a board. And I feel like it's the same thing as shopping. Like, even though you're not spending money, so I'm banning myself from that. And what I mean by that is I need to only start using the recipes, the ideas, the things that I already have pinned. So I'm not banning myself from being on Pinterest because I do really enjoy it. But I have so many things pinned that are sitting in a board and I never use them. Why do I need to keep pinning if I'm not even using what I have pinned? So that's actually something else I'm banning for the month of July is pinning new pins. I need to focus on what I already have pinned in the boards. And I really, honestly, I would like to kind of go through a lot of the boards and declutter, because some of the pins that I have are literally from 8-9 years ago. So they probably aren't even things that I'm interested in anymore. But, to start going through and start actually using the pins that I have saved. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see how I do with that. And my mind just totally went blank. There was something I was going to say and now it's gone. Okay, now I remember what I was going to say. I feel like the other thing with Pinterest and constantly pinning new things, I have noticed that information overload is a real thing for me, at least. I'm one of those people, I love learning new things. I really do. But I feel like sometimes it's too much. Like I'm trying to learn things from too many different areas and it's just overwhelming. And then I'm not focusing on anything because I'm just overwhelmed. So I feel like by saying, okay, no more like new pins, that's going to help that too. Just the whole information overload thing, because I'm one of those people that like, if something comes up in conversation or like I'm Googling, I'm looking up, like I'm trying to learn everything I can about certain subjects, you know what I mean? And it's ridiculous, which actually opens up a whole nother thing with the whole like information overload and loving to learn and new, always, wanting to do like new things is, this obviously goes without saying, but, since I'm on like a complete no buy for July, but one of the categories too that I was really thinking about, like, that really needs to be like cut off is hobbies. I have so many hobbies and I have the materials to do so many hobbies, and then I never do any of the hobbies. And I think it's because I have so many, and then I'm constantly thinking of like new things that I want to try. So during this no buy July, no new hobbies. Like, so if I decide, hey, I think I want to try and knit, well, too bad. I don't have knitting needles. I don't have yarn. So I'm not starting a new hobby. Now I like to scrapbook. I have tons of scrapbooking supplies. The only thing that I could see having to buy, and I guess here's the other thing too. I am allowed to purchase if I completely run out of a certain category. So for example, I like to scrapbook. Now, if I completely run out of double-sided tape, which is a necessity to be able to scrapbook, I can repurchase some double-sided tape. But, as another category, if I, am using my favorite facial wash and I run out of it, well, guess what? I have 4 other face washes. So I will not be allowed to buy face wash until the other 4 are gone. See how that works? That's how I did it in my last no buy, was just each category. It was like, you can't repurchase until you've used everything in that category. So that's kind of how it's going to work. And that filters over into like the hobbies. So I'm not going to be picking up any new hobbies. I'm not going to be looking up any new hobbies. I'm not going to be thinking about any new hobbies. I want to focus on the hobbies that I already have, the beauty products that I already have, the recipes that I already have, the home decorating ideas that I already have. I don't need anything new. So, and I don't need any information overload. So that's kind of where this no buy is starting. Obviously, I will probably talk about the no buy during vlogs and things like that, but I also will be doing a check-in at the end of the month. And then in my Shop My Stash videos, I will be doing updates when I do the Shop My Stash videos, because I'll let you know if I did actually make it through or finish up products in a certain category. And then in my empties, I'll let you know the same thing. So, oh, and another thing that I'm doing with this no buy that is different from my last one is I actually have a notebook, and I'm going to kind of try and keep just thoughts that, like, as I'm doing this, if there's a time when I notice that I'm more tempted to go out and buy things, or if I'm more tempted to scroll on Pinterest, I'm just going to try and pay attention to, like, okay, what is going on externally that is making me have that feeling of like wanting to buy or wanting to scroll and pin. And that way I can kind of jot those things down in my notebook just to kind of take note of. I also want to, like, if there's something that comes up that I'm like, oh, I really wish I could purchase that right now, I'm going to write it down, because I want to see like what it is behind that that's maybe making me want to buy. The other thing is, by not purchasing it but having it on the list, I'm curious to see if I still am going to want to purchase that item by the end of the month. Or is it by the end of the month, is it going to be like, I don't really want that? In the moment you want it, but then if you have to wait, do you still really want it? So that's where we're starting, you guys. Let me know in the comments down below if you are joining me for this. I know there's at least one person that said they are going to join me for No Buy July. So let me know if you want to join also. And then let me know, is it a complete and total no buy for you? Like, are you banning everything, or is it certain categories? Like, maybe you're choosing to not purchase beauty products, or maybe you're only going to, you're choosing not to buy candles or wax melts or whatever. So let me know what kind of a no buy you are planning to have. And yeah, we'll see if we can get through July. So I think it's going to be good. I'm actually really, really excited to get started. So anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for a little bit, and I will see you next time.